So I want to start by talking about the actual city here, Luxor. So apparently its name to the dynastic Egyptians, well, the late dynastic Egyptians, was Thebes, and to the earlier it was Waset. Now this is interesting to me because this area was known to my people in my regressions as Us. Sounds a little bit like wuss. So to Kiwis that's not necessarily a good thing, but it's not quite wuss, it's Us. And what's even more interesting is that adding the et on the end actually describes the culture, the language, the people. So by saying what was said, it's saying the people, the language, the culture of Wus. And the same applied to Kem. Now, you may also have heard it referred to as Kemet or Kemetology and words which have the et in it. But to my people, that part meant it was the language, the culture, the people, what went with the actual location. It was greater than the location. And it's kind of hard to explain in our terminology. So Kemet is the language for Kem. It's the culture, the way the people were. And the same went for Wus. So it was said. And of course, Wus is also the name for the builder's scepter with the cute little crowbar at one end and a tool at the other end. And I'm sure you're all familiar with what is referred to as the was. These are just a few photos that I've taken on my travels that had a was in it. And I didn't take that one very well. It's a bit blurry, but you get the general gist. They often put a very cute animal face on them. And this one's a particularly nice one of a picture that was in the museum at Alexandria. They talk about the history starting in around 3000 BC, but it's much, much older than that. And it is quite clear to me when I go and visit these sites that many have been reused, and I can even see parts of things that I recognize that have been reused. And it's not a place that I spent a lot of time in my regressions, but it's certainly easy enough to actually identify. The origins of this place in my dream regressions dates back to before the deluge, but its origins have a slightly sinister overtone because it's where I believe that the leader Japay set up an institute for his scientists to develop weapons of destruction, weapons that were used against the city of Neith, and you can read about that you can hear about that in one of my other episodes, the war between Atlantis and Athens. And this is where I believe that all the testing and all the work was done to actually develop these weapons. But of course that's another story altogether. And if people are interested in knowing more about that, I'm more than happy to do an episode on it. But it's not a particularly pleasant subject matter. But the net effect is that a beautiful place was created by people from Tantal, and after the deluge it was taken over by the good guys, my crowd, who were people like Tehut and I guess Sobek. I have no idea what Sobek's real name was, but I do know that the person was represented by a crocodile. Now, if you want to know why these various representations, it's kind of a long story, but most of it is because of a game called the Game of Herds, which everybody in my culture was very heavily into. And if people are interested in knowing more about that, please let me know, and I'll tell you all about the Game of Herds and how my people came to be represented with partially animal forms. Anyway, another story altogether.